Yeah, what up, YouTube? Yeah, it's my first video, so I'm gonna need you guys to bear with me. Right now, I'm gonna show you how to do a semi-drop fade with skin at the bottom, so we're about to give it more effect. Right now, I'm starting off with my lever closed, making sure that I go above the ears, but at the same time going just underneath the yoke to give the fade a drop effect. Now I'm using my T-yoke liner to go underneath where I went with my wall closed. This right here is to make sure that I remove all the excess hair and to give the fade more effect. Now I have my one guard open, staying very consistent with each stroke while I'm passing with the green. As you can see, I'm making sure I'm passing from the center point. See, one of the many tricks about cutting hair is to be very consistent with each stroke when you're passing the machine. As you can see, when being very consistent with the stroking with the machine and brushing with the hair, you lay down the hair and at the same time making sure that each hair is cut at the same length. As you can see, I'm going with the green, as in I'm going with this wave pattern to make sure that I don't make any gaps or any light spots, and making sure that the haircut is as consistent as it can be. Right now, I have my lever open, going against the green, making sure that I stay very consistent. As you can see, I'm going like a ½ inch above my last guard line, in which I leave space to fade in. The real trick about doing your fades is to be very consistent and to make sure that your guidelines are very, very noticeable. So when you blend it in, it'll be smooth and buttery. Now I have my lever halfway to blend in my last guideline with my new guideline what I had made with my lever open. As you can see, I'm moving my lever back and forward, as in I'm playing with my trigger. That's what us barbers call it. I'm doing this to make sure that my blend is very consistent and to make sure that I don't have any dark spots. So I keep moving my lever to increase the chance of me blending it out completely and to lessen the chance of me having any dark spots. Now I have my one guard on, going another ½ inch above my last guard line. My one guard lever is open, so which means I leave space to blend in from my last guideline to my new set guideline. Like said earlier, I have to stay very consistent and to make sure that I go against the grain and make sure all the hairs are even and there's no dark spots. Now I'm just repeating my steps, what I did earlier with the lever. Now I have my guard on, so I'm just doing the same thing with my trigger. I'm moving it halfway to make sure that I have a smooth transition, and then I'm moving it up and down, just to make sure that I get all those hairs even, and at the same time making sure the fade comes so nice and buttery.
Nah, Ralph, this shit different right here.
And can you please excuse my background as I'm still learning how to use the video software. Being consistent and being persistent when moving your machine is very, very helpful with making your fades buttery. Because when you do this, you make sure that all the hairs are even and there's no dark spots. Realize I keep saying that, making sure the hair are even and there's no dark spots, because that's what really brings out the fade. That's what really separates us barbers from the other rest. That's what really shows the customers that we care about what we do, the detail. Right now, I'm just going over what I did earlier, going over the last guidelines with the lever, open and close, making sure that there's no dark spots like I explained, making sure that all the hairs are even again. So I'm just doing the detail work and just making sure it's buttery. Now I have my 1/2 open. Now I'm blending in straight into the dark hair. So what I'm doing, I'm setting in my transitioning from my fade straight into the top of the hair. I close my guard with the 1/2 to make sure that I set in the new step. That's to make sure I set in this transitioning from the 1 guard open into the 1/2 closed, which means I'm about to pass back with the 1 guard to blend in straight into the hair. Now I need you guys to subscribe, like, and share the video. Make sure that you tell a friend, show a friend, so we could get this video everywhere. Make sure the whole world see it. I'm just a 19-year-old from the Bahamas trying to make it. And as you can see, I'm putting my talents to work. So don't be shy, just share it, just subscribe, and just like it. It'll be worth it in the end. Right now, I'm just doing the detail work, making sure that I get all the spots that I missed, or that the spots that I thought I missed, just to make sure all the hairs are even and consistent, and the fade is nice and buttery.
Nah, Ralph, this shit different right here.
here's the product I use. Got to be glued, sprayed. I use it on the front hairline to make sure the hair are laid down and to make sure they don't move. So when I lay the T-Oat line on the shaper, it's nice and crispy. When I start my shaping up, I start from the middle. I do this to make sure that I keep the hairline nice and consistent and nice and straight. So when I start from the middle, every time I stroke with the T-Oat liner, I go back to the middle to make sure it's consistent with the previous line I made. I use half of the machine every time I stroke to make sure that it's connected to the last line and the last spot I touched. As you can see, I switched machines because I feel as if the Babyliss FX, it gives a more sharper cut when you dealing with the corners and when you're dealing with the curve, because it's like a one touch and go when you're dealing with those. Now this, what I'm using is the hair fiber, and I'm using the hair fiber applicator from Elegance. So the hair fiber makes sure that I fill those light spots that he has in his hairline. So when I pass the machine back again, it's gonna fill in those spots and to make sure its shape up is nice, crispy, and dark. Now that I've used the hair fiber, I'm going over the lineup with the machine, making sure that I can be consistent with what I did earlier. And as you can see, it's coming out nice and sharp. And the fade, as you can see again, it's buttery. I didn't explain this earlier, but what I'm doing now is I'm using the corners of the machine to attack that C-cup. The C-cup is very important when you're dealing with semi-fades or temper fades or mostly. Now, major shout out to Tone 45 for making this nice machine. This right here is the airbrush machine. This is what we use to apply the hair dye, or what we call it, the hair enhancement, to the shape up. As you can see, I'm using a small card to make sure I can guard where the airbrush sprays the enhancement, because at the same time I can sharpen it easier and it wouldn't have any residue on the skin. Now I'm just cleaning up the bottom with my T-Oat liner, clearing up all that bulkage, all of that bottom hair that I'm not using anymore. So what we doing is we just cleaning that up, skinning the bottom, making sure that fade has a smooth fit. Now that the haircut's basically finished, I'm using the 360 wave grease to posture my client's hair to enhance its waves and to make sure that this hair has a nice moisture and a nice luster to it. Now what I'm about to do is I'm about to clean up the excess hair at the top, the hair that's sticking up. I'm about to use the close shaving machine to do this. This right here, this get all that little hair off. This make sure that your haircut's nice and crispy and to make sure that you have a nice finishing touch. Now this is the finishing product. This right here, this is what we worked for. This is the buttery fade. This right here, this is the finish. Yeah, we done. We out.